A warm welcome and good afternoon to all our dear students, and welcome to the lecture of Entrepreneurship Development. I, Professor Shaurya Shah, welcome you all to our own lecture. Dear students, in the last lecture we completed the innovation and entrepreneurship in social contexts and the financing and risk which a social enterprise follows. Fine. So now today we'll be starting with the last part of the chapter, that is your startup and early stage venture issues, and again the non-profit organization and the business strategies and scaling up strategies. This is the last part of the chapter, students, right? We have completed so far all the other things. So today we'll be beginning with the next topic, that is non-profit organization, right? Now so far we have studied social enterprises. We are aware who is a social entrepreneur, why all those things is taken up, right? What is the main mission and vision behind all such enterprises. So today we'll be continuing with our next topic, that is non-profit organization, right students? Now you must have heard a term called non-governmental organization, most famously known as your NGOs, right? So again, NGOs is a part and parcel of your social entrepreneurship only, but there are two different terms. NPO and NGO are completely different. Fine. So we have to study first of all non-profit organization. What do you mean by that, and how it can work and sustain in the economy, right? So as the name suggests, students, it is a legal organization whose primary purpose is to promote public good rather than making profit, right? The name itself says it is non-profit organization. Now there are various jumbling of terms, students. It may be non-profit organization, again non-government organization, again not-for-profit organization. So all three are different, but we need to study NPO, that is non-profit organization, right? So to begin with, the name itself says it is a legal organization, but whose primary purpose is to promote public good rather than making profit, right? So rather than making profit, it again never makes the profit, but the main aim is to do good for the society, for the benefit of the people. Again, these are founded by a group of people who come together for a common purpose, to provide the service to the member and the people, right? Again, in the coming parts we'll be studying the examples of non-profit organization, but to in crux, it is founded by a group of people who are coming together for a common purpose, right? They are having a common purpose. Either suppose for example any non-profit organization is organized or is formed in order to reduce the illiteracy in the society, right? So few peoples who are having a common objective of reducing illiteracy, they may start this type of particular organization, and then they can again benefit the society, right? Same thing is either for the health sector. Suppose many of the people come together in order to reduce the services which are available, right? So they provide health services to the poor and the needy people and vulnerable class of the society. So they come together, they find out an organization and they form it, right? So it is known as non-profit organization. The managing committee looks after its management, which consists of group of individuals chosen by the members from among themselves only, right? Again, it is just take an example of trust, right? Whenever you form a trust, you appoint a persons called trustees, right? Trustees are the persons who are managing the working and the funds of the basic, we can say, trust. So same thing is for non-profit organization, right? Who looks after its working? There is a managing committee. Committee means a group of people who are working for a particular purpose, right? So what do? They consist of group of individuals chosen by the members from among themselves. There may be n number of members, but out of their members they may choose a particular committee who is working for the organization. They are aimed at endorsed a social cause or supporting a particular outlook, right? Their main aim is to either endorsing a social cause or to support a particular outlook, right? Basically all this non-profit, the term itself says, right? Because there is a wide difference between your normal entrepreneur and social entrepreneur, as we have already seen. So non-profit organization is always related to your benefit of the society, for upliftment of the society, and for making the lifestyle of the people again to a greater level. Fine. So I hope you all are now clear with the concept of non-profit organizations. Fine. Again, students, worthwhile to note, It is also known as a non-business entity, right? Completely no profit. Why we do business? Business is for the profit. So here, if it is not profit, then it is non-business entity. It may include, right now you must be thinking, what do you include in non-profit organization? So students, it may include either your sports club, right? You have public hospitals, religious institutions, cooperative societies, literacy society, etc., right? The only difference between, you must be thinking, there are private sports club also, there are again hospitals also, and religious institutions, right? So all this are your non-profit organization. It may be in any field, it may be in religion, it may be in education, it may be in health sector, it may be in politics, again it may be in sports, right? But all this, the main objective is not to earn profit, and even if any times they earn profit out of it, they do not again distribute it among the members, right? They utilize for the benefit of the society and for the benefit of the members. Fine. Non-profit organizations also make the profit, but if profit earned, it is used for further aiming of the concern, right? As I told you. Now, how do they raise funds, students, right? In the last lecture, we saw the various sources of finance which are again utilized by the social enterprise. So here, they raise the funds from either subscriptions, right? Subscriptions, that is from the members. They pay the membership fees, they pay the renewal fees, annual fees, entrance fees. So from that, they raise the fund. Either they get the donation, right? We saw various kinds of donations which are available from individuals, from financial institutions, from various companies. Government grants are also there, right? So government grants, state government grants, central government grant, local authority grants. So all those grants are received by this particular NPO. Membership fees, as we saw, entrance fees, right? On the entrance of the member, certain fees is taken. Legacies, charity, and so on, right? So all these things particularly, they are having as a source of fund for that particular fundraising. Now, in which areas particularly non-profit organization works, right? As you can see, there is a wide basket of areas, around 15 fields we have marked here, under which a non-profit organization works. Fine. So we'll see. That is, the very first is your education, right? In education field, you can see n number of non-profit organizations working, which are working for the literacy of the poor people also, and for awareness in the society also, right? You have environment and animals also. For environment also, various kinds of non-profit organizations is working. One of them I can tell you is your WWF, that is World Wide Fund, right? So World Wildlife Fund is related particularly to your environment and animals. There are again various kinds of. Prayas is one of them, that is also one of the non-profit organization which is working for human services also. It is there. Charitable organizations are also a part of non-profit organizations only. Then public and societal benefit, international foreign affairs, health. You can see n number of hospitals which are working particularly for giving the services to the society, right? They are again taking hardly any money that is related to their operating expenses, and they are giving the health services to the vulnerable class of the society. Again, mutual trusts are there. Cooperative societies are formed, right? Again, some of the cooperative societies, you are aware, that are particularly formed for the benefit, right? Generally the banks, cooperative banks which are formed, were main purpose behind that is to get the cooperation from the society and to benefit that society, right? So that is related particularly to non-profit organization. Then you have professional organizations, trade unions, non-government organizations is also part and partial of your NPO. Religion related, right? There are various trusts which are created in order for benefit in every type of religion and caste. Arts, culture and humanities, right? Various kinds of, you can see that particularly in your village areas, right? Where you can, one of the example for that I can give is your Craft Roots, right? Craft Roots is such a non-profit organization which particularly deals with the art and craft and humanities, right? What do they do is, they again gather all the artists from various rural areas of India. They gather these artists, they provide them the platform in order to sell their creativity, in order to sell the products which are made, particularly handicrafts, right? So that they are also benefited and society is also benefited overall, right? So such kind of art, culture and humanities is also one of them. So as you can see, all these fields, right, it is again, we can say, pervasive. Non-profit organizations are in each and every field present. Now looking to the example students, right, I have three main examples for you people so that you can understand what you mean by a non-profit organization. The most famous amongst them is your Helpage India, right from your schools you must be aware about this organization. What is the main purpose of them? The main mission is to again fighting the isolation, poverty and negligence of old age people particularly, right? So again a very famous organization working in the field to provide help to the vulnerable elders and to provide vulnerable aged people a safe home, shelter, food, and again to take out from their negligence and poverty. I hope it is clear. Next is UNESCO, right? Again a very famous international organization, a wing of United Nations, right? It is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So for all this particular thing, right, related to your education, they are working, they are providing various services to various society classes, right, in various countries, especially in backward countries of your Africa and especially backward countries of your Zimbabwe, right? They are present all over the world in all the member countries. They are doing scientific research also in order to do for the benefit for the society, and they are providing culture also, right? So for all these three main purpose, they are having various kinds of wings which is working for the benefit of the society. As I told you, WWF, right, that is your World Wildlife Fund. So that is for your world, particularly they are working in the field of your environment. You must be aware with this WWF and WWFI, right? It is also present in India again. So all these organizations, they are working for the benefit of the environment and for the benefit of the wildlife particularly. Their main motto is to promote and protect the society with various biodiversities, not the profit earning motto. Fine. So that is again one of the examples. I hope you all are now clear, right? There are various other examples also. Seva Rural is one of the example which is particularly present in Gujarat, right? In Gujarat, in the district of your Bharuch. This are the Seva Rural is one of the, we can say, health non-profit organization. They are providing in rural areas health at a very cheaper rate, right, so that people are not suffering from various kinds of diseases, right? Again, various learning non-profit organizations are also there which are again working in the field of enhancing the knowledge of the people. Libraries are created by them, so on and so forth. These are the examples of non-profit organization. Hope each and everyone is clear with that part. Fine. Again, very famous is your Rotary Foundation, right? You can find Rotary Club in each and every city, in each and every district of India particularly, right? There are various chapters. It is actually an international organization working in the field of environment, as you can see, then health, then water benefit, then again the maternal health care, that is related to your women empowerment, then education, literacy and businesses also, right? So Rotary Clubs is one of the, again we can say, one of the largest non-profit organization in the field of benefit of the society. Done with the example, students, right? Now you need to study the various steps which are included in your startup process, right? So again, there are around 14 to 15 steps, or we can say the stages which you need to follow in order to start up a non-governmental organization. Fine. So we'll have a quick look out over it. What are the steps? The very first step is your idea of self-employed, right? Now, as we saw the startup journey of your social enterprise also, right, it always start with a opportunity or with a problem you find in the society. For that problem you are doing something innovative, and for that problem you are doing some, again, a new process or new product or new service in order to remove that problem from the society, right? So idea of self-employed, the very first when you start with non-profit organization is to provide self-employment to the various people, and again you as an entrepreneur are also self-employed. Next is analysis of entrepreneurial environment, right? Once the idea comes to your mind, right, then you have to do the analysis of the entrepreneurial environment also, right? Whether the environment, that is your business environment we say, right, that is always your external factors, social factors, cultural factors, technological factors, government factors, whether the analysis to be done for each and every factor, whether they are suitable or not, right? And again, what kind of suitability is there, how you will start your business, that is to be done. Next is project identification, right? After analysis of your business, that is business environment and market analysis, right? And then your idea, you need to identify the project, in which project you are going to deal, right? Either you are going to start with your in health sector, particularly project identification is related to your health sector, or either education sector or sports sector or religious sector. So sector you have to decide first. On that basis you need to decide in particular sector which field you are going to focus upon, right? After that you need to select the product, right? Again, as it is a non-profit organization, remember you are certain organizations are also selling the products, right? This may be a product related to either, if I say particularly a health sector, it may be related to your vaccines, it may be related to your, again we can say medicines, or you are providing hospitals, right? Again, if I say if it is a education sector, then in education, whether you are providing the schooling facilities or whether you are providing the tuition facilities, or either you are providing the books, right, or the stationery. So all those are related to particular selection of your product. Fine. Then selection of your organization. So you need to start up a organization. You need to again establish an entire structure of a organization form. You need to prepare the organizational chart. You need to prepare the organization system, authority, responsibility, relationship. Then you need to decide. I hope it is clear, all the 5 steps. After deciding the entire organization structure, right, you need to prepare a project report. Now project report is most important thing you need to do, right? What do you mean by project report, students? A project report is a entire heart of the main, we can say, the business plan, right? A project report includes each and every detail regarding your project. What is your project all about? What is the mission? What is the vision? The second thing is financial aspect. What kind of funds will be needed, right? This funds will be again returned back from which sources, again they will be conducted from which sources, they will be paid back in what sense, what will be your revenue model, right? What type of grant if you are receiving, then at what interval you will be receiving. After that, once you have got the funds, that is your sources of funds, how you are gonna apply it, right? Whether you are going to apply it in factories or offices or anything, right? Then how you need to pay the employees, how many employees will be needed, so on and so far, right? What will be the government again regulations, and for that, so each and every details whatever we are studying will be put up in project report, right? Amongst them, location of enterprise, where your enterprise will be put up, right? This will be depending upon the problem on which you have started your entire organization, right? Suppose if it is related to a particular community, or it is related to a particular geographical area, right? So that in that particular location you have to select and you have to open up the enterprise. Then arrangement of finance, as I told you, from which sources you are going to get the finance. Particularly for a non-profit organization, there are mainly 2. One is either you are again getting the donation or the grant, and the second you are going to commercial banks for particular loans, or the third we studied was to use your own funds, right? So for all that, how you are gonna arranging it, that is you need to start. Provisional registration. Again, a non-profit organization, compulsory you need to register it with the government, right? You must have heard a term called trust. So trust is also a registered organization, right? A cooperative society is also a registered organization. So you need to first you need to provisionally register for organization with the registrar of a particular related act. Then you need to apply for your electricity and water connection, that is basic after you start with the organization. Then again you need to train and recruit the workers, right? Because your profit organization is not there, it is completely a NPO. You need to recruit proper workers and employees who are ready to work with this particular work environment and culture, right? So you will recruit the employee students, then you will give training to them. Then you need to procure the raw materials. If you have decided the product well in advance, or if you are going to provide the service to them, then you need to start procure the raw materials, right? As I told you, for example, if you are making the vaccines or medicines, then you need to provide raw materials for that. If you are in education sector, then in education sector, raw materials related to your particular, if you are providing books or stationery, so for that. Then you need to start with the manufacturing, students. After manufacturing, marketing is also very much important, right? Because if you will market this in the society, because you have started your entire project on the basis of the problems which the societies are facing, so you need to compulsorily market them, right, in order to sell those products to the needy and the required people. Now, permanent registration, once everything goes according to the plan, right, your provisional registration should be converted into permanent registration, and then profit generation starts, right? Generally, it is sold cost to cost, right, because it is a non-profit organization, definitely. But if many a times, in order to survive in the market and having a operational efficiency, profits may charge to a nominal level, right, and that profit is again distributed among various peoples, right? So this is the entire steps you need to follow, students, for your particular non-profit organization startup process, right? I hope it is clear to each and every one. Fine. Now moving on to the last topic of the chapter, students, that is business and scaling up strategies, right? Now, as we studied in the first unit also regarding your various growth strategies, fine, various growth strategies for a particular corporation, for a particular business. Even if it is a social enterprise or it is a normal social business or any social entrepreneur, things for scaling up and growth strategies, right? So what do you mean by that? We will see, students. Scaling up. Scaling up itself is your growth strategy, right? What is it? A scaling up or a growth strategy is with various parameters, right? It may be like related to your impact on the society, replication, tools, products, portfolio, reputation, governance, manpower, and funding, right? Once you have started an organization that is a social enterprise, you also think as a social entrepreneur in order to grow your enterprise, right? Nobody is again willing to keep the enterprise in a steady form. So for that, it may have various parameters. Either you want to grow it in your product form, either you want to grow your portfolio, either you want to replicate your entire enterprise into some another area, you want to increase your reputation, or either increase your manpower and funding. So any parameter may be related to your growth strategy. Now again, choosing a strategy is a function of the goals of social organization, right? You need to be very careful regarding choosing a strategy. What strategy you may choose depends completely upon the constraints, environmental constraints, and the values on which the social enterprise was formed. Fine. So in short, in crux, the growing strategy, that is scaling up strategy, is related to the growth of a social enterprise, maybe in various parameters, and completely depends upon the environmental constraints and the values on which it is formed. Fine. Now basically, students, there are three main ways a social enterprise may grow, right, or may scale up. Amongst that, the very first is your horizontal scaling, the second is your vertical scaling, and the third may be the hybrid version of both, that includes your horizontal and vertical scaling, right? So what do you mean by horizontal, vertical? We will see. First of all, students, horizontal scaling, right? What do you mean by horizontal scaling? You all must be aware with the terms called horizontal integration, vertical integration. So horizontal scaling involves approaching multiple geographical markets and often different types of customers, right? Suppose I am working in Surat as a social enterprise right now, right? So what my horizontal scaling will be, my business will remain the same, but I will expand my activities in multiple geographic markets, right? That may be related in Ahmedabad, that may be related in Mumbai, or that may be related in Baroda. So what I'll do is I will increase my geographical market, that is known as horizontal scaling. Often I will offer different types of customers and I'll meet different type of customers for my business. They often try to standardize the product, and this makes impact measurement easier, right? What do? Is they are not going for other new products, right? They are standardizing their product. So in either of the geographic market, my product will remain the same. It will have a standard so that I can measure my increase in growth. Again, for example, understand it with an illustration. If your focus as an entrepreneur is giving vaccines for improving the child mortality, right, at a global level, if you are thinking in order to reduce the death of the child, for example, at very basic level, the vaccines is standardized and they can measure the impact by how many children were inoculated, right? So what is the first and the foremost step if your focus is on giving the vaccines to the children? So how you will measure your growth, students, right? In order to calculate, first you will calculate the actual infant mortality rate which was there before the vaccines were given. Then after giving your standardized vaccine, you can measure the impact of how many children were inoculated, right? Take an example of pandemic COVID-19. Right now many deaths are taking place due to your COVID-19, but once the vaccine is invented, once the vaccine is given to the people, then you can compare the growth and you can measure your scaling up of the company or of the business by knowing that by giving our vaccine how many people are saved, right? Or what is the death rate, mortality rate particularly after giving the vaccine. So that will again give you the scaling measurements for that. Hope it's clear. Now, horizontal scaling allows growth based upon social franchising. Either you can give your franchisee also. We are always clear with the concept of franchise, right? So that social franchising you can do. Either you can do market pulling, organic growth, or through strategic partnerships with other organizations, right? So these are your particular horizontal scaling method. Now moving on to the vertical scaling, right? Again, it involves focusing on one community, often localizing in one area and keep dipped with a larger portfolio of products, right? So in horizontal scaling, students, you are keeping the products intact, standardized, but you are moving to different areas, expanding your business. Here, your focus on community remains the same, but you are into a local area. But suppose you are producing one thing, now you are increasing many things, right? Suppose you are into the Ayurvedic business that is related to society, low cost Ayurvedic products, right? Suppose for example you are producing FMCG soaps earlier, now you are producing soaps also, sanitizers also, you are producing shampoos also, and you are producing again hand wash also, right? So what you are doing is you are again keeping your portfolio large with the products so that you are expanding. That is known as vertical scaling, right? Again, it may happen through trust, co-creation, and community organizing. The social organization acts as a catalyst and has a wider portfolio of products in the community, right? So they have a wider portfolio, increasing the, again we can say, the products which are beneficial to the communities. I hope it is clear, right? So this is your particular vertical scaling, students. I hope you all must be clear with the startups and the growth strategies of your social enterprise also. So there are three: horizontal we studied, vertical we studied. What is hybrid version? Hybrid version may be included both the strategies, right? Hybrid means, suppose for example I am expanding in both ways. I am expanding in various geographical areas also. As you can see, Helpage India is again present in most of the parts of the countries, right? Again, they are planning to move also in the future further foreign countries. So what they are doing is, particularly they are merging both the strategies, right? Again, geographically we are expanding, and second, if we are also increasing the products that is related to particularly various kinds of services. Take example of your Rotary Foundation. It is again present in majority of the part of the world in India, and they are again into the various fields. They are into health sector also, they are into business sectors also, they are providing their services in education also. So they are increasing in both the ways, right? So that is your hybrid version, that is a mixed version of horizontal and vertical scaling. I hope it is clear to each and every student, right? So hereby we have completed the entire unit, students, right? So again, looking to the syllabus of this part, the chapter had a weightage of 20%, right? We have seen the introduction to social entrepreneurship, characteristics and roles of that. Then you are having startup and early stage venture issues we saw right now, and financing and risk we completed in the last lecture, and business strategies and scaling up related to that particular thing. Fine. The most important here is your social entrepreneurship, its characteristics and role of social entrepreneurship. Fine. So I hope it is clear to each and every student. Fine. So students, as now we have completed this chapter, from the next lecture we'll be starting with the next unit, that is your second unit related to your creativity in an entrepreneurship. Fine. Your notes for this chapter will be provided very soon on Tuesday, that is 28th of July 2020. You will be having a quiz for this particular unit, right? Telling you very well in advance so that you can prepare well. Many students are appearing for the quiz. That is a good sign of learning, right? You are getting your scores also. I am providing you the correct answers for that also, right? So that you can enhance your knowledge, study well, perform well, so that you are completing the syllabus along with the lectures only. Fine. So we conclude here, students. See you in the next lecture very soon. This is Professor Shaurya Shah teaching you Entrepreneurship Development SY/BBA Semester 3. Thank you for your attention, students. Any queries, any doubts, you can put up in Google Classroom. We are here to help you out. Thank you for your attention once again. Have a good day ahead. Take good care of yourself.